According to a new report, nearly 100% of web applications have at least one security vulnerability. For TechRepublic and ZDNet, my name is Dan Patterson with TechRepublic's Brandon Vigliarolo. Brandon, tell us a little bit about this new report. 100% is a massive number. How did they come to this, and what applications did they survey?
Well, they didn't mention in the report what specific applications they surveyed, but one important thing to remember here is that this report only surveyed 33 web apps. So it's a stark number. It's startling to see 100% of web apps having at least one security vulnerability, and 85% of those being critical. Majority being critical, 85% directly affecting users. But it's important to take it with kind of a grain of salt. There's 33 samples to choose from, not a really big pool of data to draw these conclusions from.
So when we talk about web apps, do they mean Twitter, Facebook, Google, that kind of thing?
Well, yeah, those web apps, the report mentioned that it specifically was focusing more on custom-built ones that different companies are using and the government and financial industry. So, when you log into your bank or you use the bank web app, that sort of thing is more, I think, what they're talking about is things that were, specially designed or at least somewhat customized, not just out-of-the-box solutions that people would buy. But so yeah, smaller organizations, not necessarily big ones like Twitter and Facebook.
All right. What kind of vulnerabilities? It's one thing to have a hole that is patched relatively quickly, but it's another thing to have something that compromises, say, the security of the users. Did they define what they meant by a security hole?
Yeah, so the biggest by far, the largest by far was vulnerabilities that affect users. 85% of the vulnerabilities detected were going to have a direct impact on users of these web apps. And the number one from that particular pool was cross-site scripting attacks, which can allow an attacker to launch a script in a client session that affects the user directly and can result in the theft of their information. In terms of general, the second ranking attack was denial of service attacks that an attacker can hammer a web app with until it crashes. By far, obviously, of the two of those, the bigger and more serious one are the cross-site scripting attacks and attacks on users directly.
TechRepublic's Brandon Vigliarolo. Where can we go to learn more about not just cybersecurity, but applications that use JavaScript and modern web frameworks?
You can check out techrepublic.com and subscribe to our programming newsletters.